So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Guys, I want to talk about a topic. Paulie Malignaggi gave an interview yesterday and he said some interesting things. He mentioned Manny Pacquiao. Firstly, I want to say, Paulie Malignaggi to me is one of my favorite commentators. I think he's one of the best out there, one of the best boxing minds. He's so articulate. He makes you believe what he's saying. He's so convincing when he's speaking about any topic. He makes you believe what he's saying is right. Um, and he generally is right most of the time. Listen, he brought up some interesting points about Manny Pacquiao, saying Manny Pacquiao, does this man age? When I didn't even know how to box, this guy was a world champion. Then I started my amateur career, had amateur fights. He was still world champion. Started my professional career, still world champion. Went through a normal process, retired. A 16-year career. Manny Pacquiao was still world champion. I'm retired now, and Manny Pacquiao still world champion. I get what Paulie Malignaggi is saying. He's making some strong points. Here's what problem I do have is the fact that, listen, what he's saying, I've studied steroids. At master's level, it was one of my modules in there, so I know quite a bit about them. So the points that he highlighted, he's got points. He's making points. He said, "Is this guy not human? To age is human process." Yes, I get what he's saying. He's spot on. He's spot on. I just think, for me personally, I feel like the problem I have with certain statements, I feel like sometimes when he talks about Manny Pacquiao, he makes it out like the only reason, like, listen, you can have your opinion about whether you think he's on something or not. That's your personal opinion. What I will say is that he's never failed a drugs test, and he's never been caught. Like, we've seen cash cows in the sport being caught, so you do get caught. Was he on VADA testing in all his fights? I don't know. I didn't follow that. I didn't follow whether he was on VADA testing, but I think he was in a lot of his fights. I'd like to think he was. If he wasn't, you guys can correct me, but I think he was. I just think that the point that I have a problem with is when he kind of makes it out that the only reason, like, sometimes I forget the feeling from Paulie that he makes it out like the only reason Manny Pacquiao was any good is because he was taking something, and he doesn't give him any credit at all. And that's the problem I have, because that's not true, right? Irregardless of what someone's on or what they're, and I'm not saying if someone's on something, it's not right. It's cheating, right? If you're, so it's not right. But firstly, he never failed a drugs test. He was, it's only speculation. It's only speculation. Some people have their opinion. They think, nah, that's not humanly possible. He's moving up so many weight classes. So it's speculation. But regardless, even if he was on something, he's still a great. Because you could put many boxers and give them some PEDs, give them steroids, and they wouldn't be anywhere near Pacquiao's level. Anywhere near his level. Some people make it out like, when you're on steroids, you could walk on water, or you could climb walls. Or like, if you to go on the road and you to get hit by a car, you wouldn't die. Or if you were to get hit by a punch, you wouldn't get knocked out. That's not true. That's so far from the truth. Steroids enhance your performance. PEDs enhance your performance. Yes. They enhance you to be able to take a shot better. Yes. They make you quicker. They make you stronger. Yes. 100%. But they don't make you invincible. They don't make you, like I just said, if you go on the road and get hit by a car, it doesn't mean you're not going to die. It doesn't mean if you don't get hit with a punch that you're not going to get knocked out. I think people kind of have the wrong thought about steroids. I think they think when you inject steroids, you just become a monster and you become like Incredible Hulk, where no one can, it makes you better, yes. Fitter, stronger, stamina, yes. All of that improves, yes. But it doesn't make you some kind of monster where you have like fire coming out and no one can match you. That's just that's nonsense. That is nonsense. Manny Pacquiao was a great fighter because he was a great fighter. Now, if you think he enhanced it, that's your own opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. Of course, Malignaggi is a great boxing mind. He's entitled to his opinion. But the problem I have is the fact that when it looks like to me, he kind of makes out the only reason he was any good is because he was on that. Otherwise, he would just be a normal fighter. Manny Pacquiao, irregardless of what you think he took, which I don't like I said, I always give him the benefit of the doubt, being a massive fan of his. He would still be a phenomenal fighter because he's very talented and very good. So I don't agree with all the things. I agree with a lot of points that Malignaggi makes because he makes some very valid points, but I don't agree with everything that he's saying, just because of the fact that if we want to go down that road, then we're going to start accusing everybody of like being on something or doing something. Like, do we really want to go down that road where we start accusing everybody of being something just because they're good and just because they're phenomenal and they're great at something? Are we going to start accusing Usain Bolt of because he's running too fast, or Michael Phelps because he's just too good, or we, we can just keep going like that, If we, I don't know. But like I said, Malignaggi's an athlete. He has his opinion. He's obviously been inside a boxing ring. He knows what he feels is humanly possible inside a boxing ring, and he feels that what Manny Pacquiao did is not possible naturally. That's entitled to his opinion. But like I said, I always give Manny Pacquiao the benefit of the doubt. And like I said, I feel like, forget anything, whatever he took or whatever, Manny Pacquiao's a great regardless. Because if you think he took something, even without whether you think he took something, he'd be a great, as far as I'm concerned. But, I think to make it out like the only reason Manny Pacquiao was good because he was on something, I think that's not true. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Guys, Paulie Malignaggi mentioned something. He said when he became a welterweight world champion, when he beat Juan Diaz, there was a lot of talk of him fighting Mayweather and Pacquiao. Malignaggi said that he was very close to getting those fights. The fight between him and Pacquiao, they would have been very spicy. It would have been good to see what Paulie would have had to say in the press conferences. Also, Mayweather would have been a good fight. Paulie was a good fighter. I think he was underrated. He even said that that Americans didn't really push him that much. He goes, he had a great mouth. I do think the problem is with Paulie, a lot of his big fights, I know what he's saying, that he was kind of put in as an opponent. A lot of his big fights, he did lose a lot of the top guys like Miguel Cotto, Khan. Even though these guys were very good fighters, Ricky Hatton, I think he lost as well. These guys were very good fighters, the guys that he lost to, Khan, Cotto, Hatton. These aren't your ordinary fighters. These are very good fighters. So, there's no shame in losing to those guys. But he just felt like he never really got the push. Now, he said he was very close in getting a Mayweather and Pacquiao fight, which obviously would have been financially very lucrative for him at that point, because Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather were obviously household names at that point. They were also, whoever fought them, it was like the lottery ticket, because you'd get a massive payday whoever fought those two guys. And Paulie said he was very close to getting a fight with both guys. I don't think he would have beaten either guy. I think Mayweather would have been too good, and Pacquiao at that point was a monster. So I don't see how he would have been able to beat them. I think Manny would have stopped him, and I think Floyd might have stopped him. I think that was probably, with the way Floyd fights, I think that was probably a points job. But because Malignaggi knew how, he was a two-time two-weight world champion. He knew how to get around that ring. He could handle himself inside that ring. And like I said, Juan Diaz was a very good fighter that he beat, and he probably beat him twice. The first time was very controversial. So this is why I say when I bring up when I bring up Paulie Malignaggi, he was a very good fighter. People may think that he lost against all the top guys, but he was a good fighter. Paulie Malignaggi, and even the Senchenko fight, he mentioned that as well. He went to I think Ukraine and beat him, or Russia, beat him in his own country. And he said there was no American broadcaster even looking to pick that fight up. They weren't interested in Paulie Malignaggi's world title fight. So Paulie Malignaggi feels aggrieved that the Americans didn't really get behind him, as much. And who knows, if he had that push, if he had that impetus in his career, he may have even achieved more. But he did lack power in his career, and he was a good boxer, and he knew how to, like I said, get his way around the ring. He knew how to get around the ring, but he did lack power. but he had very good boxing ability, and you can tell when he speaks about boxing that he's obviously got a great boxing mind. I do think that he went on probably a bit too long. At the end he got beat by Sam Eggington, who was obviously not really in Malignaggi's class, but Malignaggi had deteriorated so much that he got beat by Sam Eggington. But Malignaggi was definitely a good fighter and a great boxing mind. I really enjoy listening to Malignaggi. Obviously, I don't agree with everything he says, but that's just like anyone. You're not always going to agree with everything, but he always, like I said, he's brilliant. He's so articulate. He's like I said, he convinces you. Everything that he's talking about, every topic that he's talking about, he'll convince you what he's saying is correct. Just a great salesman. Even when he was fighting, great promoter. Used to talk and talk and talk and talk, and he was brilliant. I've always enjoyed Malignaggi. I think he's definitely a guy that I enjoyed watching his career. I think he was definitely fun, and probably didn't get the push, but I don't think a Mayweather and Pacquiao fight would have gone well for him in terms of him winning, but it would have been a massive payday for him. And he said he was unfortunate. It was very close on getting the fights with Pacquiao and Mayweather. It would have been interesting to see what he would have said around the Pacquiao fight if he had got that, because obviously we know what opinions Paulie had about Pacquiao, and when he's going into a fight, it would have been interesting because Paulie, we knew he would speak his mind. It would be interesting to see what he would have to say to Manny Pacquiao in that press conference, because one thing that we knew that Paulie had a very strong feeling towards Manny Pacquiao, so I'm pretty sure he wasn't one to hold back. He would have definitely let his feelings known at the presser. So it could have been fireworks. But even though I don't think Pacquiao would have really engaged with him, I do think Paulie might have got stuck in. But he unfortunately didn't get either fight. But he had a great career. He fought Adrian Broner after. He had some good fights after that. So Paulie had a very good career. 2-weight world champion, a respected, one of the best commentators out there right now. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below. How do you think the fights with Paulie Malignaggi and Mayweather and Pacquiao would have gone? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, you know what? Floyd Mayweather mentioned this a couple of years ago, that he feels that a super fight between Errol Spence and Canelo would definitely be a fight that would happen at middleweight. He felt that eventually these two would be the last man standing, and there will be a super fight between these two. I don't know whether he feels the same way now, but a lot of people thought, even though I think Canelo would dismantle Spence at 160, I don't know whether Canelo will come back down to 160. Possibly because Errol Spence is a big name, and he's starting to develop a reputation in boxing. He's one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. But there's a massive difference from 147 and 160. Because as Paulie mentioned, a big welterweight is not a big middleweight. But could that fight happen? The weight classes, let's not forget, Errol Spence is a big welterweight. He started his career as welterweight. So could he fight Errol Spence in the future? Possibly. I think so. I think he could definitely fight. I think Canelo and Errol Spence could definitely lock horns in the future for sure. I do. I do think Canelo would win. But I do think that, a lot of people think that Errol Spence has a chance against Canelo. Errol Spence fans believe he beats Canelo. They're very confident. And there'd be a lot of fans that think that Errol Spence has a chance. They'll look, well, Cotto gave him trouble, and that, I do think Canelo's getting better. But who knows? Canelo could be on the slide, right? But Spence isn't young. And Spence wants to fight Canelo. Errol Spence has wanted to fight. Firstly, he's got to deal with Crawford. He's got to get that job done. But if he was to become an undisputed, if Spence is the last man standing, he beats Crawford and he's the undisputed welterweight champion, right? Because we've got to see how Spence comes back from this accident. If he becomes the undisputed welterweight champion, there will definitely be a push for him to eventually fight Canelo, because Spence would then become one of the biggest stars in the sport. And a fight between him and Canelo Alvarez will eventually be inevitable. But obviously it'd have to happen at 160. I don't think, Spence Spence could make 168, or I think that would be too much of a weight. I think 160. The fight happens at 160. Canelo would be a massive favorite, and it'd be a massive favorite to win by knockout because just of how big he is. And when you look at the fight that Spence had with Porter, you know, Porter was pushing Spence back. Kell Brook was pushing Spence back in their fight. Canelo's a lot stronger and bigger and better than those guys. So what would he do? You know, I do think Spencer's got a good chin though. Would he be able to take the power of Canelo though? Again, it's chalk and cheese, taking punches from Brook and Porter and taking punches from Canelo. Canelo's a massive puncher at middleweight, and he's a big dude. He's a thick set. It'd definitely be a hard fight. It wouldn't be easy for Spence. You know, there would be a significant size difference. I think although Spence is a big welterweight, he's quite a skinny frame. Canelo's quite a thick frame. I think Errol Spence might even be taller than Spence. Errol Spence might even be taller than Canelo, but I think Canelo's just a thicker and bigger frame, and he's more solid, whereas Spence is like thin. And I think if he was to go up to middleweight, I think Spence would become, I don't know, would that take away something from Spence? I don't know. Because a lot of these guys that are fighting at welterweight, a lot of their advantages, the big welterweights, are that they're big. All of a sudden, that you take away someone like Spence, who's a big welterweight, fighting the way he fights at middleweight, he may not be as effective because those guys are bigger and stronger. They can absorb more. They can take more punishment. Also, the punches you have to take are a lot harder. So it's a different ball game. It's a different ball game fighting Canelo and fighting at welterweight. But you know, Spence is a good fighter. I rate Spence. I do think that, you know, eventually these two could be involved in a super fight. Obviously, I would favor Canelo massively, but I think it could be a super fight in the future. It could be if Spence was to clean out the welterweight division. It could be a super fight down the road. It could be. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Guys, what's going on? I've seen some spicy comments that in the video that I made about Amir Khan v Josh Taylor. There was quite a lot of split opinions. Some people thought that Amir Khan would win. Some people thought Josh Taylor would win. Guys, one thing I want to say, I said Amir Khan would stop Josh Taylor late on in the fight. You know, there's some obviously trolls, Amir Khan haters as usual, came into the comment section and made some stupid statements, calling him a bum and this, that, and I was just like, I don't even bother. Got tired of even bothering replying to those guys because, you know, obviously if you think he's a bum, then you don't know anything about boxing. So there's no point in me going back and forth with you because you obviously lack knowledge, you know, to call a unified champion, a guy that was held 2 belts in a weight division at point, a silver medalist. One of them even said that, you know, he's a silver medalist, second best. All right, go and win a silver medal then at the Olympics in any sport and tell me how easy it is. So just some people come out with some stupid things, not knowing that Floyd Mayweather won a silver medal, Roy Jones won a silver medal. But again, like, a lot of these people, like I said, lack boxing knowledge and they just come out with nonsense. But let's get to the topic. Me ranting. Let's get to the topic. Josh Taylor is a very good fighter. I rate Josh Taylor, right? And I didn't say it when I said it with any disrespect that Amir Khan will stop him. Josh Taylor is an excellent fighter. There's no doubt in my mind he's an excellent fighter. And he could even become undisputed champion. I even said I think he could beat Danny Garcia. He could. I think, you know, his style's very good. I think he could give Danny Garcia a lot of trouble. He'd probably go in the fight as an underdog. But you've got to understand that Josh Taylor's struggled against the guys that he's fought. He's not had it easy. Now, you may say Amir Khan, one of you said, well, Amir Khan lost to Lamont Peterson, lost to Danny Garcia. Amir Khan did lose to Lamont Peterson and Danny Garcia, and that was in his prime. However, I thought he beat Lamont Peterson. And Danny Garcia, he was battering Danny Garcia until he got caught, right? I thought he won against Lamont Peterson, and Lamont Peterson failed a drugs test after. Let's put that in there as well. But again, when you're an Amir Khan hater, you won't mention these things, right? But I'll mention it. The fact is that Amir Khan fought better fighters than Josh Taylor fought, right? And if you don't think that, then you're an idiot or you don't know much about boxing. Because firstly, if we were to compare like for like, Baranchik isn't better than Maidana, right? Baranchyk and Taylor struggled against Baranchyk. You could say Khan struggled against Maidana, but Mayweather struggled against Maidana. All right. He just about won the fight against Regis Prograis. That was a very close fight. Also, he had a very tough fight with Victor Postal, who was over the hill when he fought Victor Postal. Josh Taylor beat an over the hill Victor Postal. Now let's compare like for like. Barrera's way better than Victor Postal. I think you'll all agree with that. Irrespective of whether Barrera was past his best. Look what Khan did to Barrera. He beat the crap out of him. Right? Amir Khan beat the crap out of Zab Judah. He beat the crap out of Zab Judah. He beat Paulie Malignaggi convincingly, knocked him out. Right? Lamont Peterson was a tough fight. A fight that I thought he won. And he lost to Danny Garcia. Right? Let me name some of the fighters in the 140-pound division at that time, right? Let me name, and you compare to what Josh Taylor's fighting against. Lamont Peterson, Danny Garcia, Andreas Kotelnik, Devin Alexander, Timothy Bradley, Lucas Matisse, Marcus Maidana. Do you see where I'm going with this? Amir Khan. Do you see where I'm coming from this? These are the fighters that were fighting at 140 pounds when Amir Khan was fighting. These are the names that he was fighting. These are some of the names that were around in the 140-pound division. It was one of the hottest divisions in boxing at that time when Amir Khan was fighting. And he was seen as number 1 or 2 in that division. When Bradley went up, he went the number 1 guy. He became the number 1 guy until Lamont. Also, when Amir Khan beat Zab Judah, Amir Khan was in the top. He was unified champion and he was in the top 10. BoxRec had him in the top 10 pound for pound at that point. Just like Josh Taylor is now. Right? So the fact is, you can be beating guys in your division, but if that division, everybody knows the 140-pound division isn't that strong right now. You know, you can't say Maurice Hooker, Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez are as good as those guys that I mentioned. You can't say that. Baranchyk and guys like are good as Maidana, no. So again, you've got to put it in perspective. Look at the fighters that I named. Matisse could knock you out cold with one punch. Lamont Peterson was as tough as they came. Danny Garcia is a great fighter. Look what he's gone on to achieve after that. So again, I feel like people get things twisted. The fighters back then were a lot better than the fighters that Josh Taylor's competing against now. It's just a fact. And if you think otherwise, you obviously don't really know a lot about boxing, because there's no way that the fighters that Josh Taylor's competing against now are better than the ones that Amir Khan had to fight. They're just not. They were way better. They were way better. You go back and check the fighters of 140 pound in that era. But that's my take on it. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.